Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Meets Screen. My name's Norma, your host of whatever, and today we're talking Sunrise and Pretty Season 2. As I mentioned in Season 1, some of the photos might match the emotions more than the actual scene, but for the most part, I think I got most of the scene photos. That being said, there might be some blurry pics in here. There might be some darker pics in here, but that's what the scene was giving, okay? So, not the blurry, but the darkness. We have Connie and Belly, and I mentioned in the last video that this was crazy. This fallout was wild. She cheated on Jere, full stop, because she chose to be with him. Am I missing something? Comment down below if I'm missing something. Somehow they thought we could talk to him and he'll understand, which are you for real, for real? Girl, you can't tell me you were oblivious to how much that boy liked you. I'm stressed. I gotta remember though that I'm 30 and I doubt I was this sound-minded at their age. So I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna back off for this season. Needless to say, that is not how it goes. She goes to talk to him and he's like, are you kidding me? Man, whatever. Y'all be happy. So then she goes back to Connie and she's just like, I can't do that to him. We can't do this. We can't be together. And then here we are, Belly in her real world, in her non-summer world. She's at school. She is not doing well. She's not playing volleyball anymore. Her grades are dropping. Susanna has passed, so she's clearly struggling with that. She tries to explain that and they're like, we get it, but something's got to give. Which damn. That's really traumatic for a kid to go through. Chill out, school. Steven is also graduating this year. We get a scene where he got a gift that basically, I guess Susanna planned to be left for him, if that makes sense. It's a laptop, a little, college kit situation. And in it, she says remember. In it, she tells him, I know sometimes you feel like the world is happening to you, but remember that you are also happening to the world. He ends up using that in his graduation speech and goes viral because of it, and he's hyped, okay? Steven is Stevening. I don't think Steven is in the second book at all, actually. There might be a scene or two, but I don't think he's really in it. So I love that they put him in it this season, but I really enjoy that he's in this season. I really do, okay? Because if I'm not team Connie and Belly. I am team Jeremiah and Belly just because he's the better pick, but honestly I think she should choose neither because they're brothers, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm definitely team Staylor, okay? Team Steven and Taylor hands down, but I'm getting ahead of myself. My bad. Spoiler alert. Belly is trying to enjoy summer without Susanna, the boys and cousins. She's struggling. She doesn't want to be there. She wants to be back at the beach when Susanna was alive. She just wants that back badly. So she goes to, I guess it's the graduation party for all the grads. She goes with Taylor and Steven. Taylor has a new boyfriend, Milo, who's performing, talking about, oh, he dedicated the song to me. He wrote this song for me or whatever. And it's I think it was I don't want to close my eye. I think it's that one. I could be wrong. But it's a back in the day song. And they're like, girl, no. Anywho, Steven makes a jackass of himself in this. He gets drunk. He tries to crowd surf, ends up hitting the ground. Him and Belly end up arguing. He says mean things to her, girl, you're not the only one who lost her, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't go well. She goes home without him, and he ends up having a ride with Taylor and Milo. And I think it's becoming clear that there are some feelings here because he is not feeling him, Milo, or the Taylor and Milo situation. I love how, the flashback scenes of when Connie and Belly get together, so they don't get together at the beach, but then later on they end up getting together more in the winter time. And so I love the representation with the winter sweaters. It was the most what can we do to make it most obvious? And it was cable knit sweaters with the Christmas patterns, right? These little patterns, and you got the top, just hilarious. But anyway, because Belly I think also ends up wearing one to Thanksgiving, which was a bit much, but I get it. They're trying to differentiate what the times look like. Essentially what ends up happening is Connie ends up calling Belly. They end up having phone conversations all the time, while he's in college and stuff. We're seeing, him doing laundry, talking to her. We're getting these kind of montage scenes of them talking on the phone. And then he shows up at her house one day. He's like, I want to be with you. We're being together. And so they get together. Laurel is not doing well with what happened to Susanna. She winds up writing a book about losing her and all of that and what she meant to her. Her, what is, publisher? Yeah. Wants her to go on tour for the book. She's like, no, not doing it. She doesn't feel like she can like sell Susanna, right? Like she doesn't want to be out here promoting like Susanna. She just wanted to write the book to like express their friendship, their relationship. Steven basically kind of convinces her to go, right? He's like, you have to do it for Susanna. Like, you got to live out loud. That's what she would have wanted for you, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember if that's exactly, but I feel like that was the sentiment, right? It's just me. I don't know. So she goes, she buys a dress, and she's off. She's off to the tour. She's off to New York. Jeremiah calls Belly looking for Connie. She's like, I haven't talked to him. I don't know. He's like, well, he's missing. She's like, what? Okay, like, I'm going to go with you to look for him. So she ends up taking the bus, meet up with him to go find Connie. I believe in the book, he picks her up, but that's kind of the only like difference in that. They start out at his dorm room where they're talking to his roommate, and his roommate's like, oh, he said he was gonna visit some cousins, and so then they know that he's going to Cousins Beach. While in there, Belly's digging through his things, and she finds the necklace. She takes it, she puts it on, but like hides it under her clothes or whatever. Belly tells her mom that she's with Taylor. She's gonna be spending like a few nights at Taylor's because her and her boyfriend broke up, and she's sad about it, yada yada. She tells Taylor so Taylor can cover for her. Taylor sees Steven. She kind of forgets for a second, tries to like reel it back in, but he realizes it, and she's like, oh, fine, whatever. And he's like, just keep me updated. And she's like, okay. So now he's feeling left out because he's like, okay, so they're all at Cousins without me. What the heck? Belly and Jeremiah end up getting a flat tire. He's going off on her. Oh, like, I could have just called AAA. You're trying to make me change it. She's like, you. So they're arguing, and then he's just basically like, you weren't there for me. I needed you, and you weren't there for me. Like, essentially, he's kind of like, regardless of what was going on with my brother, whether you were together, you're not, whatever, you weren't there for me as the friendship that we've had all these years, right? Like, it's like, you should have been there. And so she, says sorry, all of that. So they make up, and they're okay now. They get to Cousins. They find Connie. They find out that the reason he's there is because their Aunt Julia, who did not exist in the book and is here now, is trying to sell the house. The summer house was left to Susanna and Julia by their family, I guess. It's like a family house. And for whatever reason, Julia wasn't there. We find out later, like, she felt like Susanna was Dad's favorite. She got all the love and yada yada. They had a lot of arguments about it, so they just like weren't together, I guess. And her, in kind of trying to like stand her ground, I guess wouldn't go to the beach house. So like that's why it was just Susanna there, really. Connie lets them know that Aunt Julia wants to sell the summer house. So Jere makes a plan. He takes Belly with him. They're gonna go talk to her. This is Aunt Julia and her child Sky. Jeremiah and Jeremiah and Belly go to talk to them, and she's just kind of like, yeah, we're selling the house. No, it's happening. Bye. We're brought to a flashback of Belly and Connie at prom. He forgets her corsage. It's like this, but no one makes it awkward. She's like, it's okay, it's fine. I think Steven's prom date ends up like helping her make one or something. That might have been in the book though, not in, yeah, because she doesn't have it on in the show. In the book, Steven's date is like, come on, like we'll make one out of like whatever. And so she makes her one. But they go to prom. He's not having a good time. He's being a wet blanket, Debbie Downer. Like, it's just not the vibes. And I forget which one of them says, like, let's go talk outside. And basically she, like, initiates a breakup. And is like, you're breaking up with me, aren't you? Like, okay, we're done. And I was like, well, maybe, because he was like, no, like, Belly, that's not it. And she's just like, no, we're done. Ah. And then, like, Steven comes out and she, like, runs to Steven or whatever. I feel like she kind of, I don't think that that's what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to explain to her how he feels. I feel like no one like can see that he like wants to talk to you, right? Like it's like every time he's about to spill his guts to someone, they say the wrong thing or they just start talking, and then he's like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. In the first season, it was Laurel. Laurel goes to talk to him because like Susanna asks her to. She's like, yeah, girls, right? Yeah, you have a girlfriend back home. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what it is. And it's like, Laurel, just shut up and let him talk. He would have told you. And that happens a lot throughout. Not a lot, but like enough to realize the pattern, at least for me. So I feel like had they gone outside and she would have been like, okay, well, explain to me what's going on, he would have. And they could have like worked that out. We're back in the present, and Steven convinces Taylor that they are needed at Cousins. They don't know what's going on though. So we have this whole ride where she's like, are you sure? Yada, yada. They get there. Everybody looks depressed and they're like, got muffins. And then they find out that Aunt Julia is trying to sell the house. I had to include this because First of all, unrealistic. Second of all, adorable. But he's wearing his PJs from when he was a kid. But he was like half his size. Like, there's no way they stretch that much, right? Like, am I tripping? I don't know. But it was funny. It was cute. And we have the funeral. Susanna's passed. Connie plays like a song at the funeral. And so we're kind of walking through Belly's emotions of that in this flashback. Honorable mention, we get a Steven and Connie scene. Connie gets a message, goes out to like the beach. Steven follows him and he's having a panic attack. Steven talks him down from the panic attack. I can't remember exactly, so this will be the thing you have to remind me about in the comments for this season. I think he got into a school but was nervous to go or something. I can't remember. It was something about school. I think it said he got in. Yeah, I think it was he got in, but he was nervous because he's like, you know, he's not back at school, like getting ready for his exams and all. So like, it's just like what, like he got into the school of his dreams, but he doesn't know if he should go, can go, like everything else going on. He just can't think about that too. Steven winds up messing up the AC, so it stops working. Aunt Julia shows up and she's like, oh, like we can't have a viewing like this, yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna have to get this fixed. And so she's like, y'all just get out of my hair or whatever. And so they take Sky to the boardwalk. And they end up like playing games. They do boys versus girls. I don't believe Sky identifies as, I don't think Sky identifies as girl. I think they identify as they, them pronouns. But they are on the girls team. So it's girls versus boys, playing all these games and stuff. Girls lose. Belly, the agreement was whoever lost had to ride the Tower of Terror, which is the ones, you know, it goes up and then drops down or whatever. So Belly has to go on. But of course, our king, Jere Bear, goes with her. He's like, I'll go with you. And like, come on. Once again, like the choices are clear. We are given a flashback where Connie and Belly are at the boardwalk. In the show, it's like just the scene, right? We don't get a ton of background, but like they're basically at the boardwalk. Belly's all cheesy and smiley. He buys her an ice cream, but then she sees him staring at a girl. And so she basically like goes over with him, helps him get the girl, right? In the show, it's really short. It's just the scene itself. However, in the book, we have Belly talking about it. And essentially when he invited her, she felt not necessarily like, oh, this is full on a date. He likes me. I think she felt like this could go well. And it could turn into a date. It could turn into him liking me. You know, like, I think she felt like there was promise in it. And so when they get there and she sees him staring at another girl, she's just crushed. She's like, well, damn. Just kidding, then. But she sucks it up and then she, like, goes to help him flirt. When he's like, oh, I like your shorts. And she's like, you said those were way too short on me when you saw them on me. You know, like, and she's, like, kind of walks away from him or whatever. And he wins her, like, a little polar bear. And that's the one she wanted him to win her. But when he wins it, she's like, oh, I would have preferred blah, blah, blah. But she keeps the polar bear. By the end of season 2, we know that Connie has always had feelings for Belly. But this scene confused me because, like, so then why was he looking at that girl? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's like, unless, I guess it could be like, oh, he felt like, okay, I can't be with Belly. So, like, that was kind of already established. And so he's just kind of living his normal life. I guess I got ahead of myself because we come back from the flashback and they're about to ride the Tower of Terror. He hits her with the I'm right here with you because she's like scared going up. And so now they're smiling and stuff. And it's just so irritating for me because Jeremiah would have been my pick from the jump. We get I believe our first Jere and Belly flashback. And so it's basically like Belly gets a really bad summer cold. Susanna asks Jere, he's about to like go to the boardwalk. And she's like, can you stay with her? And he's like, you're kidding me. And she's like, just stay with her. Like, you know, she's like, I think she'd feel a lot better having you there with her, whatever. And so he goes and she's like, I overheard, you know, she's like, you can go. I'm fine. Like, you don't have to stay here with me. And he's like, no, I want to, come on. And then she talks about how he like stayed with her the whole week that she was sick after that, which like, come on, man, come on. Let it click, let it click. I need these scenes to like roll in her head so she can be like, it's Jere. It's been Jere all along. You know, like give me something. Give me something. I'm going to be so upset if I read book 3 and she does not end up with Jere. If Jenny does me dirty and she does not end up with either of these, she might end up with one of them. It has to be Jere. I'm still going to be upset if it's not. But if it ends with like, oh, and she married Billy, we gonna fight, Jenny. We gonna fight. So I'm just saying, you better go rewrite that book and magically enter it into my book. But that was just so stinking sweet. Like, I can't, how do you not? Also, this is not the flashback picture. This was just like, I tried to like type flashback and tried to get it and I couldn't. So this is like the next best thing, which was season 1, like the summer before, the last summer with Susanna. This was them, like they like the whole, you know, going to the beach for the first time. After all that boardwalk fun, we get back to the house to find it empty. Aunt Julia got rid of them so she could empty out the house, which is insane. Like, Aunt Julia, I don't care what kind of grudge you got with your sisters. These kids ain't got nothing to do with that. They were so kind to you. They're just trying to get you to let them keep their house. That was crazy to me because their mother died. And everything there was like set up by their mother, chosen by their mother. To have them get back and it's all gone is insane. Whoa. Like, even Sky is like, Mom, girly pop, I cannot back you on this. That is crazy. I have tears in my eyes, you guys, because what is wrong with this lady? That is intense. Whoa. Okay, I literally was watching like, no, there's no way. And you're trying to say that she was the bad guy? You look crazy. You look like a villain right now, okay? Ooh, I made myself red. But like, Aunt Julia's crazy. Aunt Julia's crazy. So now they're like, where the heck are we supposed to sleep? Or what are we supposed to do? Jeremiah's like, I think I have a place. They go to the country club, but his key card isn't working. So then Cameron's like, well, I got a key. Like, my mom works here. I work here. It's cool. So they go there. They're hanging out throughout the country club. They stay the night. This is Jeremiah and Belly waking up. We have Staylor getting closer. They share like a dance at the country club that night. They almost kiss, but Connie and Jeremiah like interrupt because they're like, hey, Steven. Oh. And then Taylor's like, oh my God. And she like leaves. We get another flashback. It is when Connie and Belly have decided to be together. They're together and it's like, you know, winter times or whatever. And it's Thanksgiving. And this was what I was talking about. She's wearing this weird ass cape on knit sweater. No one dresses like that for Thanksgiving. I don't think I've seen, well, at least maybe, because like, why did they make it so big and loose? If you watch the show, it's like, it's just, it looks in the wrong place, if that makes sense. But I love that they're trying really hard to distinguish winter from summer. But yeah, so she goes to Thanksgiving. We just see Jere like seething, brooding. Like, he's not feeling this at all. And so then I think they're like, hey, Jere, do you want to come with us to do something? And he's like, no. And he tells Connie, like, honestly, can you let me know when she's here so I can not be here? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, she's still your friend. And he's like, look, y'all be together, be happy, great. I can't do it. We get a flashback to Jere bringing Susanna some smoothies. They're talking about Belly and Connie. Basically, Jeremiah's pissed off that he forgot the corsage. We get a flashback of the mom being like on FaceTime. I think Laurel was like holding it for her. And him being like, oh, I forgot the corsage. Jere overhears it and he's pissed. So he ends up talking to his mom about it, where he's just like, how did he forget? She's like, and it was beautiful. She's like, I told him what flowers to get, yada, yada. He left it in his dorm fridge. And she kind of just talks to him. She kind of realizes like, oh, like he has strong feelings for her too. Like, you know, she's like, when I wanted her to be one of my sons, I didn't picture both of my sons like falling for her and this being that. But she also tells him, I can't remember exactly. I want to say it was like, you know, like, don't hold your feelings in. Like, I know you're like my always smiling boy. Like, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel your feelings. Something along those lines, but I could be wrong. I'm like 75-80% sure. I totally forgot the second flashback funeral scene. So Belly goes to bring Connie food and finds him with his like ex-girlfriend from back home. And she like leaves upset. He goes after her. They kind of argue. He says like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have started anything with you. She winds up telling him she hates him. She like falls. Basically, they do this in front of everyone at the funeral. And so that was kind of like that last straw of their relationship. So that's why there's all that animosity when they are all back at the beach house trying to like get it not to be sold. Basically, we find out that the house is sold, and so they decide they're going to throw a party. So they're throwing a 70s vibe party. We have Sky and Cameron getting close. Sky asks to kiss him. He says yes, and they kiss. And then we've got, which by the way, I'm just now realizing these are two separate pictures put together, but because of the coloring, I couldn't tell. But then I noticed like, oh, that's separate, like, okay. But anywho, we have Party in the USA, another dancey dance moment for me. I love it, okay? Steven tells her he likes her. Milo shows up. starts trying to fight Steven, yada yada. He's like, yeah, da, da. And he's like, well, she's like, what's my middle name? And he doesn't know it. And Steven says, I forgot what it is already. This picture was the best I could do. During the party, Belly and Connie get into it. They're like on the beach or whatever. Belly's drunk. And she's just like, why? Like, would you just like break up with me? Yada, yada, yada. And he mentions something about like, he loved her or some shit like that. And she's like, why do you tell me? I would have fought for you. I would have fought for you. Like, bruh, you ended that quickly. Okay. You didn't give him a chance to tell you. And he's like, I thought you knew. We get that thought you knew scene, which like, it gave me nothing. It gave me, y'all don't need to be together. But yeah, they end up beefing. He takes her aside. Guy comes to tell the group that their mom made a condition with the owner of the house that they would give them 1 week a summer or something like that. And they're like, what the girl, what kind of, no, that's not a deal. Stop it. I'm using this picture again. But Steven and Taylor end up getting together. They like, she's sitting somewhere, he comes to her. She's like, you knew my middle name, and like they talk, and now they're dating. Okay, now they're Taylor. Back to Belly. She ends up calling her mom. She's drunk. She calls her mom. She leaves her a voicemail. She's like, please, like you have to come help. You have to come save us. She wakes up the next morning. They're like, hey, mom's here. Her mom's there. They argue. You know, she's telling her like, you have to help save the house. She's like, this is none of our business. We need to go. Belly's like, are you kidding me? You said you take care of her boys. Like you're just leaving them. Like yada yada. You're not doing what she would have wanted. Like she's going off on her. Mom smacks her. Loud ass slap. And Belly's just like, but they make up, they fix it. The mom decides to help them. We're just gonna use Dad of the Year's picture to describe the next events. But basically, Laurel talks to Julia, convinces her to pull out of the deal. She's, you know, she's like, this is not how you want to do this. Like, this ain't the person you want to be. You know, like, you can feel how you feel about her, but, like, these kids, like, this house, they need their, like, it's their mom. Like, it's all they have of their mom, yada, yada. So she pulls out of the deal. She's like, okay, it's fine. I'm out. I'm leaving. So then they have to convince, or I think they actually convince her to let the kids buy it. Laurel now has to convince their dad to let them buy it. There's this whole argument where he, you know, was like, fuck you. Like... And essentially, you know, the guys come in, the boys come in, and they're like, Dad, like, please. It's all we got, dog. Come on now. He agrees, but he says he's not going to let them use their, what the heck are those things called? It's on the tip of their trust funds. That's what it was, their trust. He's not going to let them use their trust to buy the house, but he says if they sell their house in Boston, then maybe they can afford it. And so that's, you know, what he agrees to do for them, which you're finally being a father. The dad is basically like, Connie has to pass his tests and get into Stanford and go to Stanford as part of the deal. I know for a fact it's in the book. I cannot remember if it happens on the show, but I don't think it does. But I think they all do find out that he got in, but he's like, it don't matter because like I left and my finals are in a day. I ain't studied. Like, I'm not gonna pass that shit. And so they tell their mom, like, just let us stay one more night, Laurel. And so she lets him stay one more night. They basically are pulling an all-nighter to help him study. They pull the all-nighter, he'll study, he'll sleep in the car on the way there, he'll take his test. So that's what they do. I have this picture because, like, this was all I had of them. Okay? Okay. They leave, they get to the campus. Connie's taking his exams. I think he, like, passed the first one, and he comes out, he's like, I passed that one, whatever. And so they go to the next one. When they go to the next one, Belly and Jere start making out. I'm happy, but I'm not. Connie sees it, runs off. And Jared's like, please go after him. Like, go after him. You have to talk to him. So she runs after him, and she's just kind of like, you didn't even want this. Like, we just don't make sense, yada, yada. And he's like, yeah, you're saying that while you're wearing my necklace. And she's like, ooh, here, take it back. So yeah, then they get in the car, and Connie is just being a straight up a-hole. Like, Connie is on another level. Like, just a-hole. Big time. We go back home to Taylor and Steven, and he's going with her to hang out with friends. She's kind of like acting all embarrassed of him, and he's like, what the hell? So he leaves. So they beefing. Taylor and Steven are beefing, not Taylor. No. As I mentioned, Connie was being an a-hole in the car. He was kind of trying to be like, oh, I know her better. Like, oh, yeah, she wants to be with you. Okay, she's wearing my sweater. Like, that type of energy. It starts to like pour and rain really hard, so they end up having to pull over to like stay at a hotel. Basically, at the hotel, Jere tells Connie, I need you to tell her how you feel. If not for you or for her, I need you to do it for me, because if she does start dating me, I need to know that it's not because she doesn't know your feelings or because y'all haven't talked. Like, I need you to talk to her. And he's like, okay, like, I will. Connie ends up talking to Belly. We get this whole scene of her like on the bed and them on the floor on either side of her. And it's clear she's got a decision to make. We see Belly getting ready. I think she calls her mom to like ask, how would you like, you know, how do you know, or how did you know about dad or something? I don't know. But yeah, it's basically Belly kind of talking through like the decision she has to make, what it means for her. She's putting makeup on. She's just got like a tank top on. And then we watch her put on a sweater, and it's the Finch sweater, which is the school that Jere's going to, letting us know she's choosing Jere. When she comes out of the bathroom, he's gone. And she's like, what the hell? So she runs outside. She's calling him. He's not answering. She's like, where is he? She runs to the other side of the, it's a motel, not a hotel, of the motel. And then she sees him like walking back with a bag of food. And she's like, oh, I thought you left. And he's like, no, I just thought, I knew you'd be hungry, so I was getting your breakfast. And she's like, Jeremiah. He's like, I know. Look, like, I get it. I know. It's all right. I'll be all right. And then she's just kind of like, no, like, I'm choosing you. And he's all emotional because, you know, he's just like, felt like her feelings for him were stronger. And he knew like when Connie told her, I think he thought when Connie told her she would pick Connie. She doesn't. She picks Jere. Thank goodness. But of course we know it doesn't end there, or there wouldn't be a book 3. Ugh, I'm exhausted. This is exhausting. It's not. I'm loving it. I'm having fun. Staylor makeup. Honorable mention, Myler writes a diss track about Steven, which is kind of funny. I don't think it gets a ton of views, but I just had to throw that in there. They make up, they're good to go. She basically says, like, she wasn't embarrassed of him. She was embarrassed of her feelings for him. And he's like, are you really, bitch? Dang. And she's like, no, it's just that, like, I've liked you so much. Like, even after you left me hanging in Cousins, like, I acted like I was okay, but, like, I was crushed. I just like you so much. I don't want my heart broken. I don't want to be the one that, like, loves you more. Which I feel like we've all had that conversation so many times in our lives, where it's like, it's better to be the person being loved more than the person loving more. It just is. And that's just the reality of it, okay? It is. It just is, because you know that, like, you won't be the one to hurt, right? So that fear isn't there. Belly comes back in, and of course, Connie takes it all back. He didn't mean any of it. Like, he's fine. They're fine. He's good to go. Like, why? What is the point of you taking it back? Like, were you just being petty because she chose your brother? I'm not understanding. Like, sir, go to HE double hockey sticks. Because why? Don't. That was a joke. Oh. I don't know. I should have made that joke when his mom passed. But yeah, he takes it all back. And he's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, you guys go ahead. I'm going to find my own ride. Such and such is, like, taking me back to school or some shit. Whatever. We end this season with Jere and Belly driving back. They end up meeting up with Taylor and Steven because Belly is going to try to get back on the volleyball team. She goes inside. She begs her coach. All the players are like, come on, coach, let her back. And she does. And so she's a volleyball player. Life is fine and dandy. Jere stays to watch her. Steven is like, him and Taylor are like, we're not that type of couple. And Steven's like, I'm going to go play video games. Call me when you're done. Like, damn. Okay, if you like it, I love it, Taylor. That's the end of season 2. This was so much fun. I just have to put this here. You guys don't understand. My daughter, the baby, she's like in and out of consciousness right now. She's at that point where it's like she's waking up, but she's not quite awake yet. Like, she'll make a noise and then be quiet forever and then make a noise. And here goes my second child. And my second one needs me to spell something on YouTube for her for like the 5th time. But that's fine. We did it, and I am so excited. I got both videos filmed. Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment down below. I need to know, like, before we get to book 3, y'all probably there already, but it's fine. Think about before you read book 3, okay? Are you team Jeremiah or are you team Connie? I need to know. You know where I stand. But anywho, subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.